Anchor for me is my major work card. I see it as someone's career, their 9 to 5 job, what you can count on, what you tend to be attached to. If somebody says, what do you do? Oh, well, I'm a writer. That's my career. I may not work on it 9 to 5. I might work on it from, 11 until 3 in the morning. But it's still kind of the basis of my income, my sense of stability, my orientation to myself. And so anchor also has other meanings. It can be, being near a seashore, things that happen, anything that provides stability or something that you're fixed or attached to. Also, a kind of tertiary meaning of it can be hope, but there's other hope cards. So that's not the major meaning for anchor, although it was in some of the older meanings. So today, people tend to think of it as kind of stability, attachment, something fixed you can count on. And for me, that's the career 9 to 5 job. Then there's the moon, profession, recognition, honors. And that's because the main meanings for moon, this is not the tarot moon. I want you to get that absolutely. Throw everything that you know about tarot and the moon out the window. And start fresh. The primary meaning for moon is recognition, honors, fame, celebrity. Secondary meanings get into emotions, but they're not so much the negative or problematic emotions. They can be romantic emotions. And it also means the evening time. By the way, anchor can be something that takes a while. It's going to be fixed and steady, whereas moon is just, this evening. And that's where it ties in with romance and emotions. Some people, the Germans, tend to emphasize the emotional component and also kind of a psychological, the moon is the card of psychology. The Germans focus on that a bit more. Other people go along with the older meaning, because the moon was related to the masses. So it's how the other people see you. And that's why I call it the profession card. It's how you are known to other people. So when people say to me, oh, you're Mary Greer, the famous tarot reader or tarot author. And I go, oh, yes, that's me. That's the moon. I'm being recognized. I'm being honored. Other people see me that way. So if somebody says, I said before, the anchor, my 9 to 5 job might be a writer. But if other people say, oh, yes, Mary, you're the writer, that's more of a moon. They're recognizing that. The way in which you use them, very rarely do you read cards, and you really shouldn't, as individual cards. So you get house. So, okay, house. It's your home. It's your immediate environment. It's the people who are around you in that immediate environment. It's that sense of your property and ownership. Ownership's a good word for house. But then it doesn't tell you anything about them. You need other cards to tell you if it's going well or going ill, what particular aspect of all of those possibilities is being talked about here. So cards are always read in combination with other cards. The basic unit is the pair. And different than English, the right card is usually seen as modifying the left. That's partly because we read the cards from left to right. There are a few people who read from right to left, but for the most part, what you're going to find, 90%, people are going to read the cards in a line from left to right. So the first card in the line is going to be your subject. And the next card to it is going to modify that subject. It's going to be an adjective. And so what we have here, let me see if I've got, So house, we've got home, real estate, your housemates. So some people consider it family, but in general, it's whoever's living in your immediate environment. your sense of security, your possessions, your body, ownership. So it can be even the physical body. So this is the subject that's being talked about here in this little 2-card pair. If you're going to be doing daily spreads, which I'm going to suggest that you do, you don't draw 1 card. No, you would draw at the very least 2 cards, and I really recommend 3 cards because you're going to need 3 cards to be able to get enough nuance to know what it means. If you draw the house, what does it mean? My body? Does it mean my housemates? It just doesn't give you enough information. But here we've got a book. So book can mean secrets. Oh, here you've got an 11th card to learn. Can mean the secrets, unknown, mystery, education, knowledge, and tests. The oldest meaning is secrets. Secrets or unknown. It was called the grimoire, the earliest term for this card. It wasn't the book, it was the grimoire. So the secret book, and something mysterious. But it's also all about learning and education and knowledge and so on. So, but you need to turn these words into adjectives. So a secret home, a secret building or house, a house of education, a house of knowledge, a house of tests. So, a knowledgeable house. It could also be literally books, a book house. So think of it as modifying the house, making it not just any house, but some particular kind. Learning the cards, subject area 2, the people cards. So today our subject area, we're really going to focus on the people cards. And I'm going to start out with 2 that you've already learned, the gentleman and the lady. What system are we learning? Right now, we're learning kind of traditional cards. It's just that most people didn't know that the suits have meanings that accord with the Lenormand. They couldn't match the French ones with it. Reversals in Lenormand? No, Lenormand usually doesn't have reversals. There are a few writers who have added reverse meanings to Lenormand. Erna Josbecki did it in Belgium. She writes in Dutch. And you can find it in an Italian book. There's a few books, but it's pretty rare, very, very rare. So that I just happened to show you an old deck that happened to have reversed meanings. It wasn't a Lenormand deck. It was an old playing card deck because the German system has meanings that are much closer to the Lenormand cards. German playing cards and Lenormand cards are much more similar than English or French playing card meanings and the Lenormand images. Okay, so we're looking now at the people cards. And you already know the gentleman and the lady. We also have the child. And of course, that can be the child of the querent or any other child or somebody acting like a child. It's generally a positive card, it can be play, and I'll mention a few more things in a moment because I want to put it with its suit because we have a king and a queen and a jack of spades. And so these are, in a sense, a family. The child, as I said, a child or children can represent play. It can represent school, especially elementary school, early stages of learning. It can also just be an adjective for new, young. It's a new project. So child or a new job. So let's say that your job card is anchor. If you had child and anchor, then that could very easily be a new job. Something small. The old meaning is goodness, but it can also mean childish and immature. There's a lot of negative cards around it. Now, the theme. Here we've got the card that we kept emphasizing, the whip. The first 3 cards are another way that you can start your reading. You can do the 4 corners or the first 3 cards as your central theme, or you can do both. I tend to do both. I look at the 4 corners and then I kind of add in, start telling the story with the first 3 cards as the theme. And we see that discussion, active energy around a woman or a woman's. People asked if a woman is the modifier, which in this case, when we look at the first 3 cards, she's acting for a moment as the modifier of whip. So it's the woman's argument, the woman's activities. Everybody get that? So it's simply, man and woman are very, very simple cards. They stand in for the person, very specific people. And they, if they're modifying something, then they're just the possessive characteristic. Very occasionally in short spreads, you'll find it representing masculine approach to something or a feminine approach to something or being womanly, but minimize that. Don't jump to that as your first kind of thing. Stick with the fact of it being people and can refer to her arguments. Then we have, interestingly, the Queen of Diamonds. Diamonds, remember that shape of a diamond is kind of like a crossroads. That's an easy one to remember. And the whip is a real problematic card, so it's that clubs, the Jack of Clubs. So we've got perhaps 2 people here, actually even 3 people if we consider the woman a third person, and a crossroads, choices and decisions. So, arguing back and forth with yourself over which choice or decision about your approach to Lenormand readings.